Hello, it's Amy with Just a Little Ink. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And today I'd like to share with you a really quick card. It's one I created recently for a swap that I participated in that was using some of the items that were on and are still on our last chance list. I had to think of what category we're calling it today. I've been a demonstrator now. This is my 23rd year with Stampin' Up! It has been a wonderful ride and I have seen a lot of changes. Most of them have been really good. So anyway, I want to flip my camera over and kind of share with you the what I'm going to be working on. So it's using the Tags to Go bundle. It is still the cheapest way to get this the stamp set and the dies, and they were earlier this afternoon at least still available. If you were to buy them individually at their discounted price, it is actually more expensive fractionally than if you were to buy them separately. They do not come on a magnetic sheet. That's something I do with my own stamps, but to share with that's part of what I'm using. And then I'm also going to be using some of the paper from the Storybook Moments Designer Series paper, and names are not coming to me today. It's more than just a paper pack because there's some ephemera in it. So I kind of wanted to share what that's going to look like. So it's 12 pieces. 2 of each, and so these are cut down because I've used a lot of this paper. We're going to use the houses piece, but then the back side's got some great vegetables, some cute little critters. I'm thinking this would make a really cute fall card. Certainly the colors could be either way. This one's pretty with all the strawberries. I've used most of it. There are some pieces that the die set that coordinates with Storybook Moments cuts out, and so they just are a great thing. And then there's a whole suite of products that are actually still available as well. This paper is not currently listed as being on last chance. And then again, the ephemera, and I left it on the last sheet just so you could see because they do fall out really pretty quickly. But you get 2 sheets of the ephemera, and I took and punched all mine out and stuck mine in a plastic sleeve, basically kind of a pocket. Then this is that last piece of Designer Series paper, and again, you get 2 pieces of it. You can cut them down for little elements on the fronts of cards, which I think is just a great idea. So anyways, this is still available. Again, not showing as last chance. I'm going to go ahead and get my picture and a picture going, and we'll get going on this quick card. So what I wanted to do was make a welcome card, and so I've already cut my half a sheet of Lost Lagoon cardstock at 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. Going to go ahead and fold it over, grab my bone folder, nice crisp fold on that, set that aside, and then I've got my piece of, I'm going to set this out of the way a little bit. I've got my piece of Designer Series paper that is cut. I'm looking at my notes here. I have to keep notes, otherwise I would lose track of measurements. This the Storybook Moments Designer Series paper is 5 inches by 3 3/4. Then I've cut another piece from a coordinating, so lots of scraps used this way, 1/2 inch by 4 inches. And then I have a piece of Cajun Craze that is cut at 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, so just a tiny bit bigger. I also have a piece, a quarter sheet, 5 1/4 by 4, that's going to go on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and get my Stampin' seal. I know some people are not fans. What I found, I'm really a fan of Stampin' seal. If you don't try to check it and just come off straight, it doesn't get the frustrations. So if you've been in the habit with our previous tape runner, don't be doing that. It's kind of what I'd tell you. So because that'll mess it up. Okay, so I'm going to put that on the front. Super quick card. I'm just going to layer it on the front. And line it up. This is a red rubber stamp. And as you've probably already heard, red rubber is going to be going away after our current mini catalog, which is our September to December mini, and then anything that's currently in the online or in the the annual catalog. And I'm going to put my piece of paper, my little strip down on the inside piece. They will be available through this cycle of catalogs, but then the new releases will not have any red rubber. It'll all be photopolymer. And I know initially I was thinking I'd be upset about that. I was not a fan to begin with, but I have become quite a fan of our photopolymer stamps. Nice to be able to see. I can't attach things straight for the life of me today. Okay, so I'm going to scoot this over. You won't notice it, but I do. So, and then I've got just a teeny little piece. I'm going to get my scissors out and fix that. All right, so I'm not going to put a greeting on the inside, so I'm going to go ahead and attach my inner piece. So we'll go ahead and not do it upside down. And super quick. I like quick cards, and I think that this idea could be used for a lot of different stamp sets and bundles that we have. So the rest of what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the dies. There are lots of tags, and so I'm going to use this one here. We're also going to be using a couple of the keys and the lock. But initially, I'm going to grab my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It's just easier size-wise. I'm going to pull out my plates. You're going to use your plate 1. I'm going to use one plate 2 set offset. I tend to go about a ½ inch anymore. I'm going to line it up. I have found, actually, I'm telling you that, and then I'm not going to be doing it. Before we do that, back to the, I'm going to grab the Welcome Home stamp. With red rubber, it is easier to stamp it first. And so that I'm going to do, I'm going to use Lost Lagoon ink. I think you can see me here. And I'm going to make sure that I am toward the right side. I'm hopeful I'm getting it right. Go ahead and put that away. I will clean that later. It's always important to clean your stamps after you've used them. So then I'm going to line up my greeting in here so that I have it centered, mostly top to bottom is really what I want. And I think I can go a little further over, yes. So I'm going to line it up. And then I'm going to grab my Post-it tape. If you have just Post-it notes, that works really well. It's the same thing. I just keep these on my table because it's easier for me. So I'm going to come as far over as I can get it. So I'm going to go ahead and stick my tape on there. The nice thing about Post-it tape, just like Post-it notes, is that it's not going to leave any residue on your cardstock. So I'm going to line that up there. Okay, and then because I don't want to run this more than once, I'm going to go ahead and stick my piece of silver foil on and grab the key. I want the one that looks like it could be a house key. It really is the reason I bought this die set to begin with. And then I'm going to put the little lock. And then I'm going to line up again my top number 1 plate, because you need, or number 2 plate, excuse me. You do need both of them, and I'm going to run it through. So you'll hear some cracking. go. Let me set this then out of the way. And so I'm going to take my pieces here, get them out of the way, and I'm going to line up. I have to excuse my dogs. They're just being naughty today. So then I'll put that out of the way and we'll get busy. So then I want a little bit of twine. So I've got linen thread. It's a great option. And so what I want to do is I'm going to take on the front. So here's my welcome home. And I actually had done one earlier and I like it better. It's a little better centered. Do you see the difference? Maybe you don't. We get closer. Either one would work, but I like the one that's a little more centered. And so I think I will tell you that you want a little bit bigger piece of the basic beige, which was what this is, than what I had previously. So what I'm doing is I'm going to grab just a length, I don't know, around 12 inches of our linen thread. And I'm going to thread it through the lock. So I want to come from the back up. And I'm going to come from the back through the hole of the key. Like so. And then I'm going to come on the other end and I'm going to come through the hole of the tag. And pull it up. But I kind of like just the simplicity. You could easily take any of our designer series papers and cut them to the measurements that I've done for the designer paper and the layer, coordinating color. So then I'm just going to fold over and tie this in a bow. So I want it to have them where they're hanging off on the one side. And because I sometimes struggle with gripping, I'm going to grab my tweezers, which I think are sitting right here. They're supposed to be. They may not be in here. That's interesting. So we won't be doing that. We'll just see how well I can tie my bow. So I'm going to go ahead and just loop up and tie my bow. And then I can adjust it. I've given myself quite a little bit of ribbon there, or twine. So I've got them where they're hanging off, and then I'll trim after I'm done. So then I want to put some Stampin' dimensionals on the back. And I'm going to just use some minis, part because that's what I have right up front here. So I'm just going to grab and put a few dimensionals along the back side. And then I want to make sure, whoops, the one actually goes on there. Then I'm going to grab, I want one on the lock. You don't need a lot, you just want something that's going to keep them. And then I want to offset that enough, and so I'll kind of show it a little closer to the camera. So I've done is this, so that I've got a dimensional that's on the back side. So then I will remove those covers on the back. And then it's a quick amount of just placing it onto my card base. But what I was saying is you could use any of our dies. And so I'm just going to come, I want to put it such that it's not covering up completely. So I'm going to come over here, kind of split between, and I want those to be straight. But I thought I'm always looking for welcome for people who've bought a new home. I live in a newer development, and so I just think it's kind of cool to be able to have those, and so to have a few of them on file, something we don't tend to make a lot of. But this paper just kind of said, yes, that is what I wanted to use it for. So I hope that I'm inspiring you not only to use what you have, but also to, if you haven't bought the Tags to Go bundle, or the Storybook Moments Designer Series paper, to consider that. It's just a lot of fun. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and flip back over to my forward-facing camera. If you haven't liked or subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd so appreciate that. I try to put something on every week. It's been a little sketchy through the summer months, but we're back into the fall, or close to fall. I love fall. And so I will be back next week with another video. And so please like, comment, share, and I will see you again next week. Have a great day.